Hey guys, we're getting off of flex head, quarter-inch drive flex head ratchets again, at least for today. I had a request for this video. They wanted a subscriber wanted to know if I bought any consumables from Harbor Freight, and yes, I do. But before we get into that video, next Sunday, which is 10 days from now, I'm giving away this set of long pattern double box flex head ratchet wrenches made by ABN. Goes 8 to 19 mil to a lucky subscriber. Anybody has subscribed today, yesterday, last week, last month, or last year will be eligible. I do giveaways every 2 weeks. And I plan on doing that for the duration of the channel. And then when I have 4,000 subscribers, this set of Icon ratchet wrenches, this is a long pattern, goes from 10 to 19, 10-piece set. It's got the 12-point box, 72 tooth. It's got the 15-degree offset, the reverse lever. It is a long pattern. It's got those anti-slip design on the open end. When I have 4,000 subscribers, one of you guys is going to win those. Okay, excuse me, getting off that. These are things I buy at Harbor Freight that whenever I go there, if I'm low on anything like this, I pick it up. It's relatively dirt cheap, and it definitely has a place in the shop. We're going to start over here on the left. I had a request for this guy, so I did it. You know, I did a video similar to this about a year ago. Excuse me, I got a cold coming. About a year ago, I always pick up zip ties. I mean, you can't beat that price with a stick with these costs. I always pick up zip ties. Harbor Freight is in the house. Take a gander. I always pick up shrink wrap. I do a lot of electrical work, and you can never have enough shrink wrap. That's a colored coat. That's got colors, different colors. That's kind of cool. It's dirt cheap, guys, and it works great. How about these little things here? These here are good for like you want to ground something on your car, you know. These washers that dig in here, and they're good for a ground strap or something. I use those a lot. I use a few of these on my Chevelle. Those come in handy. Those washers. I don't know if they call these star washers. I'm not sure what they call them, but they dig in when you tighten them up, and they're good for a ground strap or something like that. Very, very handy to have. All dirt cheap, guys. I mean, hey, this is stuff you got to have in your shop. This is tech screws. That's what I call them anyways. I always buy those when I go through a lot of those. Sometimes I put them in tires sometimes for traction, you know, like some of my older four-wheelers and stuff. I'll put them in. They come in really handy, tech screws, especially if you're working with sheet metal. This is just more shrink wrap, I think, here. I got a lot of shrink wrap, different sizes. Good stuff to buy at Harbor Freight. I got other stuff in the shop, but it's all over the place. The shop is a mess. That toolbox needs help. Had a request for this, so I try to honor it. How about these guys? Grease fittings. You know, sometimes you'll put a new U-joint in or something, or how about an old U-joint? There's no grease fitting on it. Drill a hole and tap it. Put one of these in. Actually, you don't gotta tap it. These kind of self-tap themselves, and I've used them a lot in the past in projects. Grease fitting assortment. All Harbor Freight stuff. All consumables. Cotter pins, guys. Whenever I take apart anything, especially a steering component or something, these are large ones. I also got small ones. I never, ever reuse a cotter pin. That's a no-no. I can remember when I was young, I might have did it, and because I didn't have any in stock, but no, I don't do that anymore. That's when I was a young kid. I always replace and put a new cotter pin. Any castle nut, anything to do with your steering, you know, you think about it. And that's a safety problem if you don't. You know what I mean? Always pick those up. I always call these things here, these little plastic fasteners. I call them Christmas trees. I don't know what you guys call them. And these things come in super handy. Today's cars, there's all kinds of variations of these things. And, oh, I use them all the time. They come in different colors, different sizes. I got more on the shelf here, but that's just some of them. Those come in super handy. Here's one, guys, I recommend, highly recommend. How about an O-ring set? Oh, my God, you're taking apart a fitting or something, you know, either airline or any kind of fitting that's got an O-ring on it. These things come in super, super handy. I've used them so many times. You could use them in so many different things. It's crazy, but I recommend those. These things work great. And I think there's like more than 20 sizes. There's probably 30 sizes there. There's a big O-ring. And boy, do they come in handy, guys. Highly recommend that. That's just more shrink wrap. That's one of the brands they carry. It's called Storehouse. All things that never walk by a Harbor Freight. Spring assortment. These are mostly extension springs. Oh my God, I've used these things on carburetors, you know, the old carburetors and stuff. How they usually you had two long springs. You had one in the inner and one in the outer in case one broke. And you guys remember the old carburetors on the older cars in the 70s and 80s? Before they come out with throttle body. And throttle body was first, I think, TBI, and then was fuel injected, other than the old Corvettes. I think they were the first fuel injected car in the United States. I'm not sure. But these come in handy, all kinds of springs here. Extension springs and compression springs. Handy little set. Cable clamp assortment. I got a bunch more on a shelf in the back, but I just grabbed a few of them. These come in handy, guys. Storehouse is in the house. These come in handy. These are plastic. They got white ones. They got different size. I got a big one. I got a big master set in the back there, and I use those a lot. You get I think there's like four sizes there, or 6 sizes. How about if you're drilling a hole through a frame or a firewall, and you got to run some wires through it, which is common when you do wiring on a vehicle. How about these rubber grommet assortment? These things come in handy. I've used these a lot. Last time I used these was probably on my U2V. I was drilling a hole through the firewall for a radio, and I used a couple of these. I think I used something like this size here, and I had a bunch of wires going. These things work awesome for that. These are things, guys, you need on hand just to save time. Time is money. I try to honor all requests. Sometimes it gets overwhelming, but, you know, and that's why I break up the series. We're working on 1/4-inch flex head ratchets, but I keep getting interrupted, but that's okay. It makes things interesting. How about these guys? Wing nuts. Those come in handy. Different assortments there. Some mini fuses. Now, some guys say their fuses suck. I don't know. I never had any problem with them. I've used a few of these in my U2Vs, you know, side-by-sides, and I never had any problem with them. Some more hose clamps. I don't typically use this style too often unless it's low pressure, you know, and but today's cars, a lot of times I won't use something like that. You got high pressure lines and stuff, like fuel lines and stuff that are higher pressure than the older cars that are mechanical. Look at it's made in Taiwan. You know, people will tell you, oh, it's junk, but it's made in Taiwan. It's not junk, guys. How about set screws? These came in a container, but I usually put them in my bins. And how about set screws, guys? That comes in handy. There's so many things that you could buy there that really you need to have in stock at all times if you're working on stuff like I do all the time. How about snap rings? You know, here's a bigger one here. Snap rings. And I've used this stuff a lot over the years, and I've never had any problems. This is the type of clip you don't see a lot, but what you do in some things, E-clips. I don't think that's as common as a snap ring or a, I can't think of what else I want to say. What's the other one? Snap ring? I can't think. But E-clips aren't as common, but it's still nice to have in stock. Circlip was what I was trying to think of. Now, these are hose clamps. Now, I don't particularly use this type anymore. In most of my cars, I use either a 1-ear or 2-ear with a special pliers. But it'd be good for a road pack. You know, you get in a pinch, you blow, or you know, you have a breakdown on the road. They're going to get you home, guys. You know. But I'm not a big fan of that style, so to speak. This is old school, but I still use them on certain applications. You know, mostly for emergencies or, like I said, you break down or. I had used them on my plow truck a couple times, but you got to have those. Now, I have other things, but that's just, you know, what I have in this video. I did a video similar to this about a year ago, but I don't know if I had all this stuff in it, but I had a request for it, so I did try to honor it. Let me know what you guys think, what you guys use, if you guys buy anything near like this. Let me know. I love the feedback. Keep it coming. Channel's doing good. It's all because of you guys. And every 2 weeks we'll have a giveaway. Next Sunday's the next giveaway. And at 4,000, those Icon ratchet wrenches. Hope you guys liked the video and have a good day and stay tuned.